They thought you'd stay. They thought you'd beg for clarity, crave an apology, drown in the void they left. But you didn't. You took disrespect as closure and walked away forever. And that is power. Not everyone gets a goodbye. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Sometimes, all they get is your silence and your absence. You were there, loyal, giving, open. You showed up every time, even when your hands were empty, even when your soul was drained. You gave until it bled. And what did they give you back? Lies, games, silence when you needed truth, distance when you needed support. They took your consistency as weakness. They saw your loyalty as desperation. They mistook your kindness for naivety. They thought you needed them, but here's what they didn't see coming. They didn't expect the day you'd stop caring, the day you'd finally look at their silence, their disrespect, their cowardice, and say, that's enough. Because it was. The moment they disrespected you, the moment they chose their ego over your heart, the moment they ghosted your pain and played dumb, that was your closure. No note, no speech, no final conversation, just a moment of truth, a final breath of clarity. They disrespected you, and that was all you needed. You didn't slam the door. You didn't scream. You didn't break down in front of them. You just walked, and in that silence, you became untouchable. That's what they never tell you. Closure doesn't always come with answers. Sometimes, closure comes with realization. Sometimes, closure comes in the form of pain that opens your eyes, the slap of truth across your chest, the ash in your ribs from holding back the explosion. But you held it in. You chose dignity. You chose silence. Because real power, it doesn't chase. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't beg for decency from the unworthy. And that's who they are now. Unworthy. They had you and lost you. Not because you changed, but because they never valued what was real. They were addicted to control. They needed someone who'd jump at their mixed signals, someone who'd drown in the gray area of their affection. But you built yourself in black and white. Either it's respect or it's nothing. And they chose nothing. So now you give them nothing back. No energy, no tears, no chance to explain. Because disrespect was the final word. You took that as your sign, your closure, and you became someone they'll never access again. Let me tell you something that will burn into your soul. The person who disrespects you is never confused. They're calculated. They know what they're doing. They just think you won't leave until you do. And that's when everything shifts. That's when they realize they lost someone rare, someone who meant what they said, who loved without games, who gave from the heart. And by then, it's too late, because the person you were when they hurt you is gone, replaced by someone sharper, stronger, colder, and no, not bitter, just wiser. You learned. You adapted. You no longer tolerate emotional crumbs. You no longer fight to prove your worth. You know who you are now, and that scares them, because now you can't be controlled. You can't be manipulated. You can't be gaslit into doubting your truth. You know what you bring to the table, and you refuse to beg anyone to sit with you. Because when you took that disrespect as closure, you became dangerous. The kind of dangerous that moves in silence, that smiles while rebuilding, that disappears and returns unrecognizable. Let them wonder. Let them scroll through your name with regret. Let them rehearse apologies you'll never hear. Let them choke on the ghost of you, because they don't get you back. Not this time. Not ever. You walked away with nothing and rebuilt everything. And here's what you need to embed into your DNA. You don't owe anyone another chance to hurt you. The first time, maybe it was confusion. The second time, naivety. But the third, that's self-betrayal. And you're done betraying yourself. You're done shrinking to fit inside someone else's comfort zone. You're done watering down your love just so someone with shallow depth doesn't drown in it. You're done. This is your rise, your evolution, your rebirth. And it began the moment you stopped chasing clarity and started building from closure. That moment was your turning point. And it changed everything. You didn't just leave. You ascended. You didn't just move on. You leveled up so high they can't even reach your shadow. They still talk, still stalk, still wonder what happened. But you're gone. Not just physically, mentally, spiritually, energetically. Because when someone shows you that your loyalty is disposable, you become unavailable. Unavailable to their chaos. Unavailable to their drama. Unavailable to their pathetic cycles of push and pull. You see it for what it is now. Manipulation. Emotional puppeteering. They feed you just enough attention to keep you hoping, just enough silence to keep you chasing. But you cut the strings. You took the power back. And that's when the game ends. Because people like that, they don't know how to handle someone who doesn't need them. They only know how to control someone who doubts themselves. But you believe in who you are now. You know your value. You know what you bring, and that makes you untamable. You don't beg for love anymore. You don't chase half-healed people who weaponize your kindness. You don't sacrifice your peace to prove you're worthy. You were always worthy. They were just too blind, too weak, too empty to see it. So you gave them a gift. The gift of losing you. Let them sit in the space you left behind. Let them scroll through old photos like it's a museum of their own failure. Let them taste the silence they created. Because you're building. Silently, fiercely, without looking back. And every step forward is a slap to their ego. Every glow-up, a blade through their pride. Every win, a reminder they let a legend walk away. But don't seek revenge. Don't go back just to show them what they lost. Because here's the truth. The real revenge is never looking back. Let them guess. Let them ash. Let them pretend they never cared while secretly dying inside. Because you have something they'll never touch again. Your peace, that inner calm, that unshakable energy that comes from finally choosing yourself. You're not broken anymore. You're not confused. You're not asking, why did they do that? Because now you know disrespect is a choice, and they made it. They chose to disrespect you. They chose to ghost you, lie to you, humiliate you. They chose to play games. And now, you choose to walk away. You choose healing. You choose power. You choose your future over their dysfunction. Because staying would have cost you your soul. And you're done paying for someone else's immaturity. This world will try to convince you that you need closure, that you need answers to move on. But the truth is you need a decision, and you made it. You chose to believe in yourself more than in their fake potential. You chose to see the red flags and stop making excuses. You chose you. That choice is everything, because the version of you that tolerated disrespect, that version no longer exists. You killed that version with every step forward, with every boundary set, with every no finally said without guilt, with every tear you turned into fuel. You buried that past self and became a warrior, a quiet one, a focused one, but a warrior nonetheless. They will feel it. Your absence, your indifference, your unstoppable climb. They will feel it in ways they can't explain. Because silence is loud. It echoes. It haunts. And the silence of someone who used to care deeply, it destroys. Let them drown in it while you rise. You don't need closure. You don't need apologies. You don't need them to admit what they did. Because the moment you took that disrespect and said nothing was the moment you took your power back. And now, you never lose it again. You didn't flinch. You didn't explode. You didn't cry in front of them. You just vanished. That's what destroys them most. Not your rage, not your pain, but your calm. That calm that says, I see who you are now, and I'm done. That calm that doesn't beg, doesn't explain, doesn't forgive, just walks. And that silence, it's a sword through their delusions. Because they thought you were too emotional to leave, too loyal to detach, too soft to disappear. But you were never weak. You were just hoping they'd grow. You saw their potential. You believed in their better self. You gave them chances they didn't deserve. Because you loved hard, and they mistook that love for stupidity. But now they know. You weren't stupid. You were just patient. And when your patience ran out, so did your presence. They didn't lose someone who tolerated them. They lost someone who would have helped them build an empire. And now they get to sit in the ruins, alone, because you're not rebuilding them. You're rebuilding you. Stronger, wiser, colder where it counts, but still burning with purpose. You are not the same. You don't chase chaos anymore. You recognize emotional manipulation like a scent in the air. You read body language, tone, energy, because you've lived through the worst. And you survived. More than that, you evolved. That pain you carried, now it's your weapon. That heartbreak, now it's your fuel. Those sleepless nights, now they're your reason to stay disciplined, to sharpen, to get stronger, to become someone so untouchable they'll have to lie to themselves just to sleep at night. You gave everything to people who couldn't handle depth. They wanted shallow, wanted convenience, wanted someone to orbit around their broken ego. But you were never meant to orbit. You were born to rise. And now you're rising with fire in your chest. You wake up with purpose now. You don't chase attention, you attract respect. Because you stopped needing them and started needing yourself. Let me tell you something that will shift the way you walk forever. The moment you become your own source of validation, the world stops controlling you. No more explaining, no more proving, no more tolerating nonsense. They didn't value your presence. Now they'll be devastated by your absence. They didn't answer your calls. Now they can't reach you. They played games. Now they're playing alone. Because your soul is off limits now. You've entered a new phase. No more fixing broken people. No more shrinking yourself. No more sacrificing your peace to keep toxic people comfortable. From now on, you protect your energy like a kingdom. Only the worthy enter. Only the loyal stay. Only the real get access. And the rest, they get a memory, a lesson, a warning. You don't speak their names anymore. You don't replay the past. Because you're too busy building the future. You're building it with scars, with pain, with lessons carved into your bones. And that future doesn't have room for disrespect, because now you know you are the standard. You set the tone. You define the terms. You lead the path. And if they can't rise to meet you, they don't deserve to walk with you. Let them sit with that truth. Let them live with the memory of the one who never came back. Because when you took disrespect as closure, you didn't just walk away. You closed the door and set it on fire. There's no second chance now. No comeback. No apology strong enough to undo what they shattered. Because some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. They're meant to burn. And you're meant to watch the flames without blinking. Not out of bitterness, out of clarity, out of evolution. You finally see who you are, who you really are. Not the version they tried to control, not the version they tried to dim, but the real you. The one that was buried under overthinking and heartbreak. the one that was waiting, watching, burning to be unleashed. And now, there's no going back. Because once you taste your own power, once you feel that fire in your veins, you never let it die again. They created a monster, but not the kind they can run from. A calm monster, a disciplined monster, a version of you so refined, so locked in, so ruthlessly focused, that their old games seem like children's toys. Let them keep talking. Let them post. Let them act like they moved on. Let them pretend they don't care. But deep down, they know what they lost. They know they can't replace your energy, because you weren't just someone. You were the one who would have gone to war for them, the one who saw their wounds and tried to heal them, the one who stayed longer than you should have, hoping they'd change. But you finally learned. Love without respect is self-destruction. Loyalty without boundaries is slavery. And your peace? Non-negotiable. From now on, you don't chase. You don't convince. You don't wait for people to get it. You show them what life looks like when you reclaim your power. And that life, it's quiet, it's focused, it's filled with wins. No more battles for people who wouldn't bleed for you. No more defending your worth to people who can't even face their own demons. No more trauma bonds. No more, maybe they'll change. No more. Because when you took that last disrespect, you didn't just walk away from them. You walked into you. You walked into silence, into strength, into legend. And the silence? It changed everything. It taught you how to move without explaining, how to heal without closure, how to grow without apologizing. Because this version of you, you owe it to yourself to never abandon again. No matter how lonely the climb feels, keep going, because every step away from them is a step toward everything you deserve. Your future isn't built on their regret. It's built on your decision to rise, to reclaim, to remember who you are, and who you are: unstoppable, untouchable, unforgettable. They'll remember your silence louder than they ever remembered your voice. And that is the victory. Because when you took disrespect as closure, you didn't just leave. You changed the game forever. You never needed revenge. You were the revenge. Your success, your stillness, your silence. That was the payback. You weren't loud about it. You didn't post about it. You lived it. And that hurt more than any words ever could. Because the ones who disrespected you, they expected noise. They expected drama. They expected breakdowns and begging. But what they got was nothing. No text, no call, not even a glance. You went ghost-like, a legend vanishing into the storm. And they felt it. Oh, they felt it. They felt the loss when no one matched your energy. Felt the absence when the people they chose over you turned out to be empty. Felt the sting when they realized you were the blessing, the protector, the safe space the fire that lit their darkness. And now, they sit in that darkness alone. But you walk in light, because you finally understood something most people never will. Your energy is a gift. Your presence is a privilege. And your love is a weapon in the right hands. You will never again place it in the wrong ones. No more sacrificing yourself to fix broken souls who bite the hand that heals them. No more sitting at tables where respect isn't served. Because now, you eat alone if you have to. You walk alone if you must. You burn alone until the fire inside you is too powerful to be ignored. And when you rise without mercy. Because this world doesn't reward the loyal. It rewards the disciplined. It rewards the ones who can take heartbreak and turn it into fuel, who can take disrespect and turn it into direction. You turned their betrayal into blueprints, their silence into strategy, their lies into lessons, and their absence into your strength. Now you move differently, sharper, quieter, colder where it counts. But your heart still burns for greatness. You're not numb, you're selective. You're not bitter, you're focused. You're not broken, you're rebuilt. And what you're becoming can't be touched. They could never handle your full power before, and now they'll never get the chance. You walk with purpose now, every step a declaration. I know who I am, every breath a reminder. I don't need closure, am the closure. You're not what happened to you. You're what you chose to become because of it. And what you've become is a force, a storm with eyes open, a soul with armor forged from betrayal, a mind so sharp, so clear, so unbreakable, that nothing shallow can ever reach you again. You don't hope they miss you. You know they do. You don't hope they regret it. You know they do. And it doesn't matter anymore, because your story isn't about them. It's about you. It's about rising from the ashes they left you in. It's about walking away without looking back. It's about becoming so elevated they can't even speak your name without trembling. You gave them your love. They gave you disrespect. And you took that disrespect as closure. And you left forever. No messages. No revenge. Just legendary silence. And that silence became the loudest thing they'll ever hear.